Hello everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for June 20th to the 26th of 2021. So happy summer solstice! You know Shanta and I are getting together as we do every year for well over 15 years. We invite the whole community, and there is a link in here to register and donate $22. If you have it, that would be wonderful. If not, this, like I said, is open to all. And it's going to be a Zoom this year, so we'll get to see your beautiful faces. Or you can still dial in from your phone if that's too distracting. I know a lot of people aren't into the video aspect of things. And just listening and receiving works too, of course. So can you believe it? The year is halfway over. We are at the peak of light, the maximum light, where the sun stands still for 3 days. And because we are having supermoons, you might want to pay attention to sunset as much as moonrise or moonset, because sometimes when we have these supermoons, even the sunset looks bigger, and then it happens around solstice, and it's really gorgeous. So I'm hoping to have some great pictures for you and some really cool videos in the next couple of weeks. This sacred season is about integration and expansion of life. So you know me, I'm always preaching about the 8 sacred seasons. We're at the halfway mark, 4 of them in. So this season goes June 20th, technically, to August 7th, when we'll have the Leo Gate of Power. That will be when my Soul Sisters seasonal circle really kicks off. So for those of you interested, do reach out and connect with me directly so I can hook you up. Solstice is a powerful time to check in. It's good for renewing your commitment. It's the annual midpoint and integration, so think about what you seeded at winter solstice, how it evolved at spring equinox, and where you're at right now as you acknowledge this turning point in the year. And remember, when we hit the peak light, even though it stands still for 3 days, after that 3 days, the light starts to recede in the northern hemisphere, and it starts to increase in the southern hemisphere. So we're both at our extreme points of light right now. It's time to review your choices and decisions, especially since Mercury is still retrograde. And we do have a full moon surrounding this solstice. We have Jupiter and Neptune going backwards. There's lots of energy going into the cauldron of this solstice time, which is also why it'll be really beautiful to be together on Sunday with Shanta and the Compassionate Wisdom Circle. So please join us over there Sunday if you can, or register and get the replay. This season gives you a chance to check in with your own power and authority. It's good for processing and planning the next 6 months because you want to think about how you want to finish the year strong. And the Venus cycle is going to be wrapping up by December as well. After all this exploration, it's going to move into Capricorn and linger there. And Venus is going to ask us to start making some commitments, to start building some foundations, to start building some structures. It's going to be interesting, so you really want to get the most out of the next 6 months. And, of course, it's time to assess and integrate the past 6 months. So thinking about where you've been since last winter solstice and where you want to be by next winter solstice. Honoring and giving gratitude for the light. Yes, in this hemisphere, like I said, it's summer. We should be celebrating life, replenishing our own selves after hard work in the harvest and winter seasons. By tending to your sacred space and inner nourishment. Like I said, it's really time to replenish when we get to Cancer time every year. It's time to check in with what's feeding you. Using the sacred season to process and digest life. Balancing your inner feelings with your outer actions. Being more consistently responsible and self-sufficient. So this is our checkpoint. Summer solstice is the midpoint in the annual solar cycle, bringing another turn of the wheel. The peak power of light before it surrenders, moving toward true completion of that which was seeded at winter solstice. Permanently opposite each other, eternally balancing and rebalancing, integrating and reintegrating, the life-death-life cycle. These sacred seasons represent the time of year we should focus on balance and integration of light and darkness, yin and yang, feminine and masculine, inner and outer, and in your chart, it's Cancer Capricorn, which is personal and professional, public and private. So if you think about it, winter we pull back and it's very private and we work behind the scenes, while summer is usually out and about and doing things that are with other people more often. While winter is a time of rest, replenishment, and rejuvenation, summer solstice is the time of pouring forth, emptying out, and fully birthing and releasing your creations or whatever you've done with your creative energy thus far in the year. This is the midpoint of the solar year, a point of culmination and choice, a time to count your blessings, assess your creations, gather power, and access the courage to move forward. Deep breath. This is the balance of your outer world and your inner world, with emphasis on the sacred space where you fortify and replenish, so you are able to contribute something significant to the world. Be creative and operate from heart center as you move through this sacred season, which is about 6 weeks long. Release what needs to be released and fertilize the next phase of the annual cycle. Summer solstice is a time to celebrate the primal creative force, the mother of all mothers, Mother Earth, by acknowledging the blessed container, nurturer, and protector that she is for all life on this planet. Connect to and honor your own instinctual nature at this time, and be mindful of the nutrient that you take into your body, mind, spirit, and space. Summer is the sacred season of maximum light, so be passionate and be present. All right, y'all, we got a big week. So if we kick off with solstice, same day, Jupiter goes backwards in Pisces. And I already did a post on this, so you can definitely review that. I've linked it here again, but I even found some bonus goodies. So Jupiter is at home in Pisces for the only time once in 12 years. So I encourage you to take advantage of this year. No matter what your sun sign or where your Jupiter is, this is the best time for really checking in with your beliefs and philosophies, your truth and your story, and what you believe to be true or possible for yourself, others, and the globe. That said, it is affecting Sag, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces the most directly while it's in Pisces, but it is going to go back and forth with Aquarius too, so Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio energies are involved as well. Review that Jupiter in Pisces post for more details on how Jupiter feels in Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries. I went forward, as that is where it's heading next. So that'll catch you up to speed with just Jupiter being in Pisces this year and how it's going to go back and forth over Aquarius. And that's very useful information to review at this time. And certainly any retrograde prompts us to review. As I've said before, any retrograde planet does indicate a time to slow down and recognize the shift in the energy. Try not to qualify it as good, bad, right, or wrong, but simply look for any kind of turnaround. Often we don't stop to reflect until we are blocked by something seemingly outside ourselves or some seemingly outside force. Many have been experiencing a testing of their faith and ability to continue to believe in a positive outcome for all involved. It's hard to keep a positive attitude when we know there is so much work to be done to restore balance in ourselves and the planet. But that is the thing about faith. If you keep it in the idea concept realm, and never test it to see how it works for you personally, then it is a lot easier to lose along the way. Deep breath. Faith is an active principle. We are being challenged to dream up a new and better story for ourselves and the planet. So what do you believe? Part of my work as the Mystic Mentor is reminding you that your soul work is an ongoing, lifelong process. We get to work on this monthly, annually, and in a bigger way like now, every 12 years. So where Neptune represents our spirituality and connection to God's source, Jupiter is our faith and personal code that we live by, our individual truth. Jupiter is also one of the benefactors in the heavens, and the lessons include how to better your life, education, consciousness, justice, integrity, and truth to start with. Jupiter makes things bigger, so when in Pisces, it's expanding your conscious awareness around sensitivities and boundaries, around illusions and delusions, around our compassion for ourselves, each other, and the planet. Pisces also represents the womb in a lot of ways, and in this case, it's the womb of our consciousness, what we incubate within and then make choices and decisions on out in the world. It is time to consider the truth that you believe and the story that you tell with your choices. It's time to add meaning to your life. It's time to expand in some way And that's customized for each individual depending on your Pisces house. So knowing where your Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini Sag is really helpful here. Another one of Jupiter's gifts is inflation. So when it retrogrades, deflation can occur in the area of life for you, so it is good to be alert. One of the blessings of this year's Jupiter lesson is that we are supported to stop reaching outside of ourselves for guidance and clarity and turn to our own inner guidance to direct us. What do you believe to be true or possible for you, for humanity, for the planet? Check out this 33-minute audio that I've also linked in the blog. This is from 12 years ago when Jupiter entered Pisces last, and it is full of unbelievably appropriate reminders for right now. It also has some references to other rare planetary alignments of the time that are just beginning to be relevant now. So think back to 2009, 10, 11, and 12. There were some important alignments then that we are seeing the results of now. Also, in parentheses I have here, I do apologize in advance for how fast I used to talk. I've been working on that my whole life, y'all. And since I do have people with me since 1999, y'all know how far I've come. But my goodness, I wish I could have slowed that down for you. So let me know if you have any questions. That's all. But it's great and it's packed. It's so packed with good juju for right now that's going to help you while Jupiter is backwards, which is going to be until October 17th. So every year, Jupiter retrograde gives us a chance to edit our stories individually and collectively. With Neptune continuing its journey through Pisces, we are so supported to activate the imagination to assist this year in a bigger way than usual. If you pull back to reevaluate and tune in to a greater vision for yourself, rather than try to force your will, you will feel stronger and more centered, which enables you to be more effective in the world. Work smarter, not harder. Make necessary adjustments being demanded of you at this time. Edit or rewrite your personal story, and it will ultimately empower you. Retrogrades demand that we contemplate the true source or hidden cause of our own motives. There may be an imbalance. What you've been subconsciously thinking about or even acting out in some way may come to the forefront and demand attention. You may have an urge to make a sudden decision regarding self-preservation. Any new plans impulsively implemented at this time will most likely need a revision or a new vision somewhere down the line. Closer to Jupiter going direct in Aquarius, October 17th, things may begin to take shape in unexpected and wonderful ways that even you couldn't dream up. So use the next 4 months to reflect on how you'd like to improve your life, your environment, and the world. Deep breath. Jupiter in Pisces is a big deal, y'all. First of all, it's once in 12 years and it's wrapping it up. So I'm thinking about how interesting it is that we had Mars retrograde in Aries. Remember last year when we talked about that, it was the fact that it was resetting the masculine to the tune of like 32, 34 years. It takes that long for Mars to move through and come back and then linger and retrograde and reset everything around the masculine. We have Chiron back in Aries, resetting everything around our individual healing, education, and soul work, knowing we have to do these things for ourselves, knowing we cannot outsource soul work. No one can learn for you, no one can heal for you, and no one can do your soul work for you. So we're taking that back, and now Jupiter's about to do it. Got to finish up in Aquarius Pisces, but then it hits Aries too. And that's a rebirth of consciousness for the social collective realms and any one of us that has all this energy activated, which most of us do. So just know that all that, in addition to the eclipses, in addition to the supermoons and the full moons, all kinds of things going on right now that point to endings, new beginnings. Let's just say that. Okay, they live together, people. We do both at the same time, every time. You don't have an ending without a new beginning, and you don't have a new beginning without an ending. They're always right next to each other. And Jupiter in Pisces is warming up to the ending. So let's finish up the last 12-year story we've been telling, individually, socially, and collectively. Let's choose to be more compassionate and holistic and inclusive with others and know that we are all one on this one planet, one mother, one moon, one sun, one earth. So all that's Sunday, June 20th. Monday, Venus is going to trine Neptune, which is actually very good too. It's ease and grace. It's connecting to your vision and your imagination for what's really most important to you around your relationships and finances, around kinship with others, the community, the things you care about. Venus is all the things we care about and cherish and love. Neptune is our connection to faith and spirituality and God in general. But it's also very creative. When these two get together, our artistic side is activated. So let's really use our right brain imagination more often than left brain linear right now. Mercury's still backwards until the next day. And there's just so many indications with the summer retrogrades and other things that are pointing us inward to take all that energy we've been pouring outward and pour it internally so that we can replenish and recharge and be ready for the harvest in the fall, okay? Because whatever we do with this year, with our time, energy, and resources, that's going to be our fall harvest at equinox in September. So anyway, Monday the 21st, Venus trine Neptune says this is a very supportive energy for dreaming your world into being. I love it. Allow your imagination some latitude to wander and see where it leads. Play with what-if scenarios. For example, what if all your material needs and desires were taken care of? What would you dedicate your time, energy, and resources to? You may be very empathic and connected to others and what they are going through at this time, so maintain adequate boundaries. Neptune can activate a very spiritual encounter with another human being, friend, family, or lover, but only time will tell if it is Neptune playing tricks on you or if it really is a truly spiritual connection. Deep breath. So again, with getting artistic and in our imaginations to dream up the next leg of the journey, which for summer solstice activates the next 6 weeks. So that takes us, like I said earlier, to August 7th. So June, July, and the first week of August. We are given permission to replenish ourselves and turn inward and reflect on the last 6 months and kind of prepare ourselves to pivot and start focusing on the next 6 months. And then Tuesday, June 22nd, Mercury goes direct in Gemini. Thank you, God. Woohoo. We still got 3 weeks to go, though, y'all. Pump your brakes. Not so fast. Mercury going direct is a blessing, but this same week, Jupiter and Neptune go backwards in Pisces. So the mutable energies of processing our lives is still very much underway. It would seem we are being given an opportunity to truly process the last year of our lives, and that alone could be overwhelming. Sometimes you'll hear me say that Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times per year, and there's always at least one that is more intense than the others. This year, it is all air signs. So we've been through the Aquarius one already. Now we are finishing the Gemini one, which has been extremely powerful, life-changing, intense, and chaotic. But we also have one more to go in Libra in the fall. So it's going to be happening again at a turn of the seasons, y'all. So think about that. Winter, spring, summer, fall is usually a lot of action and dynamic time of choices and decisions and things to do and people to see and places to go. But with retrogrades, that may be hampered a little bit. Now remember, just because technology and worldly things go wonky at that time, keep in mind that the soul work and healing and education that you do for yourself is actually supported during those times because those energies are turned inward. And so that's where the focus should be. So feel into each of them, each Mercury retrograde of the year. We got 3 this year. They're all in air signs, so it's very, very mental. And see if you discover which one is most important for you to pay attention to. Since it rules Gemini, on paper, you would think this is the one. And it definitely qualifies. There were some extreme hiccups in the world with mechanical and communications breakdowns. But now we are on the other side. So with Mercury, I always encourage you to keep the timeline in mind. 3 weeks before, 3 weeks during, and 3 weeks after. So we are just entering the 3 weeks after shadow zone. So you should still be checking and double checking details and following up on your communications to make sure things are all on track the way you want them. Okay? We're not out of shadow yet. That's going to be like closer to mid-July. Then on Wednesday, the 23rd, Sun is going to trine Jupiter. And this is a blessing of source energy fueling your biggest dreams and visions for your life this lifetime. You are encouraged to take advantage of the good vibe available when these two get together to expand your life's direction in a big way. This activation is often blessings from previous dedication. You've been moving in a certain direction, and it's like the path is wider and deeper now, allowing you to connect some huge pieces of your personal story together in a new way. It's great for learning and exploring anything that will support your forward movement. Some may use the good vibe to veg out and relax, which for some may be the best thing for them. However, if you are stepping up to new levels of your own consciousness, this energy totally supports you as you integrate it all. It is an enthusiastic, optimistic energy that will open doors for you depending on your attitude. It will allow you to see the big picture and the next necessary step toward your goals at this time. Deep breath. So this is perfect to have right as Jupiter turns around, because as soon as it goes backwards, you're going to get some kind of aha illumination around your truth and story and what you believe to be true or possible for yourself. And that's so good. That's so good. It's helping you in a beautiful way. This is so supportive. Now this one is a little bit deeper and darker. Anytime you're dealing with Pluto, it's challenging and heavy. So Venus opposed Pluto, which pretty much I think only happens once, maybe twice in her cycle of 18 months. So this is a rare opportunity. And let's look at when she conjuncted Pluto. January 28th is when Venus initiated this new cycle with Pluto, and now she's at the halfway point. So very interesting timing to check in with. Because again, that was January, now we're at June, it's been half a year. Classic opposition, anything with Venus, is usually softened, while anything with Pluto is always intensified. And the opposition automatically brings up the push-pull between these two. You are encouraged to tune into your heart, and then you can trust what is rising from your own depths. Also, any opposition gives you a look back at your starting point, which can reveal something that you may not be giving yourself credit for. Deep breath. Either way, this energy intensifies experiences where your relationships and resources are concerned. If you have focused on love to the exclusion of money, then your finances will probably come up at this time for a rebalancing of sorts. If you've been focused on money to the exclusion of family or supportive relationships, then that may be your focus. The bottom line is your true values are up for a purification, and you are being asked what and who is really truly important to you. How do you spend your resources of time, energy, and money? What and who are your real priorities right now? Often we operate completely unconsciously, being driven by deeper forces than we fully understand. And periodically, we must allow them to come up and out so we can distill or release them so they become compost rather than toxic. Deep breath. Since you may feel quote-unquote compulsive in some way when Pluto's involved, you may as well use that energy to make a deeper commitment to getting to the root or source of any imbalance, rather than let it take you away to feed some unidentifiable famine in your life. Okay, that's the hungry ghost. Often this activation tends to make you uncontrollably drawn to someone you know is not good for you, which can only result in problems. It often provokes manipulation, jealousy, guilt, and other negative emotions that always come when you are trying to maintain something that wasn't meant to be in the first place. Again, don't try to force your will. It can only lead to a broken heart in the end. If you are already in an intense relationship, beware of subconscious impulses, hidden resentments, unexpressed anger and/or frustration. Expressing it at this time can be helpful if you present your concerns in a constructive way. However, you will have to be personally strong and vigilant in monitoring your own emotions in order to do that. Deep breath. Ultimately, if change needs to happen in your relationship, this will be the catalyst. This energy is only quote-unquote bad if you are unwilling to get to the real root or source of the given conflict. Otherwise, it is like a storm that cleanses and clears the air, making everything grow better. Deep breath. Love it. So that's all Wednesday. We've got Sun and Jupiter and Venus and Pluto. So we're imagining something, but we're also recognizing how utterly our values and priorities have changed in the last 6 months to a year. Basically that's what's up. Then we have the Capricorn full moon on Thursday, the 24th. This is your annual opportunity to release that which you no longer want to be part of your reality or your responsibility. Look to what you initiated at winter solstice and how far you've progressed since then. What's working, what's not, what needs to be released, what needs to be strengthened structurally or otherwise, what foundation work needs to be done to support you better going forward. The full moon is shining a light in a corner for the first time in 6 months to a year, which is the Capricorn house of your chart, revealing any weaknesses or cracks in the foundation of your current focus. Whatever you seeded with the Capricorn new moon, January 13th, 2021, 6 months ago, has run its course, and now the full moon shows you what is solid and can be expanded on, as well as what is weak and must be fixed, replaced, or released altogether. This is the time every year when you determine what is truly feeding, nourishing, supporting, and protecting you on all levels, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Here we are reminded that often internal shifts precede external shifts. Deep breath. Our Capricorn reality is but a reflection of our Cancer interior going on. Whatever's going on inside us is reflected in our outer reality all the time. Obviously, this is a general overview for the Capricorn full moon. However, this year is special because of the combination of rare planetary alignments, along with the pattern-changing eclipses. There are plenty of write-ups on this summer's sky pattern, too. I'd like to check in with how you are doing personally. How are you navigating these changes? Have you had to up-level your self-care in any kind of way? Have you noticed relationships ending permanently because they have served their purpose and it's all good? Have you noticed that your personal needs have evolved so your vibration has naturally shifted? Have you noticed that you are attracting new and different kinds of people and situations? Deep breath. I would like to remind you to take some time during June, July, and August this year to assess and integrate your own personal growth, development, and direction. Mercury retrograde in Gemini suggests that we need to change our thinking, clear our consciousness, and reset our individual self-expression. Okay, that's what the energies support this weekend, big time. Changing your thinking, clearing your consciousness, and resetting your individual way of self-expression. That's huge, y'all. That's not a small thing. Use this time to release ideas, people, or situations which drain your life force energy and or dim your light. During Cancer time every year, you are reminded to check in with your own natural rhythm and assess where you may have gotten off track with this rhythm and must reset yourself this summer so that you can handle the upcoming fall harvest. Use the eclipses for what they are good for. Change. What are you ready, willing, and able to change about how you live both your private and public lives? How can you renew your dedication to a routine that nourishes, inspires, and energizes you? How can you put your ideas and skills to good use in the world? Where are your gifts and talents needed, valued, and honored? What nourishes your body, awakens your mind, and feeds your soul? I mean, if we don't check in any other time of the year, at least during Cancer time, once a year, ask these questions. Check in with yourself this summer, your soul self. Much of these very fundamental, basic things in our lives have changed, and so have we. This is new territory we are in during this eclipse season, so stay alert, creative, and optimistic when you can. And when things are dark and challenging, hold on to your faith in positive outcomes and miracles. Because that's the biggest thing. Jupiter and Neptune together in Pisces, you can't tell me that's not miracles. That is our ultimate shot at miracles. Now, we get every 12 years with Jupiter, but Neptune's only at home in Pisces. There's another one that's going to reboot in Aries soon, too, which means our connection to God goes away from needing a middleman into direct connect, communion with what is holy within you. It's so brilliant. But Neptune's only there every 165 years. So this is our chance in a lifetime. That's why this is so important and why so many people are waking up to their spiritual being. So same day as the full moon, I want to let you know, and you all should all know, if anyone's in the Colorado Springs area, by all means, please reach out or send your friends and family that are here and connect with us. But Sister Shaman's coming to visit me in person. So we're going to do an in-person Instagram live on Thursday, the 24th with the full moon in Capricorn. I'm thinking around sunset time, but who knows? Because when me and Sister Shaman get together, all kinds of magic starts to happen. So we will announce it, the exact time, a little bit closer to that day. Like maybe on Wednesday, we'll post the time on Instagram so you know. And hopefully you can join us. Hopefully technology will cooperate. It is literally 2 days after Mercury goes direct, so that might work in our favor. Meantime, we are going to have fun. We're going to have a full moon ceremony, do a burning bowl, anything you're ready to release, like it said in the write-up, anything that's no longer part of your roles or responsibilities. Let's let it go and clear space for Cancer new moon coming in 2 weeks. That's where we seed what really feeds and nourishes and protects us. So we want to get everything out from the old year and from last year and all that. The last 6 months, let's wrap it all up and get ready for a nice harvest. That's Thursday, the 24th. Then Friday, the 25th, Neptune goes backwards in Pisces. So this week, Jupiter and Neptune both go backwards in the same week that Mercury goes forward. So Mercury's like our thinking mind, whereas Jupiter's our consciousness, again, with making meaning out of everything all the information that we gather. And Neptune is that spiritual connection and that way of integrating it all, right? So last year and this year, and probably for a couple of years now, Neptune is standing still right at the solstice, emphasizing the renewal of our connection to the sacred, as well as the dream and vision we're living in this moment. Where the moon represents the individual womb energy, Neptune represents the collective womb experience on a much higher level. So as a whole, we are all returning to the womb at this time, essentially preparing for yet another rebirth. It's not going to be as tangible as some would prefer. From Neptune comes all things formless, but very, very real. Subconscious, dreams, magic, music, art, etc. While the womb was the source of nourishment and protection at one time, we annually renew that connection through the Neptune retrograde. It's time to check in on the relationship between your spirit and your human form. Every year, we are supported to renew that which supports us on a spiritual level. It is where you need to return periodically for strength, nourishment, and wisdom. The more regularly you're able to do this, the stronger the connection to your spirit and true purpose. When Neptune retrogrades, it may be less shocking than Uranus or Pluto, but no less effective. Its primary goal during a retrograde is to gently dissolve personal boundaries and remind you that you are an eternal spirit in a temporary form. You start to realize your connection to the whole. Not a bad idea, but to some it can be upsetting, especially if they are rigidly holding on to the boundaries of a false sense of security. Where you might pursue dreams and visions when it's direct, when it's retrograding, be creative, read, write, sing, dance in private for your own pure joy and delight, as well as for cleansing and releasing purposes. In adding to dreaming for the community, dream for your deepest soul self as well. Connect to that original intent, that original person you were born to be, before you were imprinted by your family, culture, or environment. Original intent. And when you can, over the next 5 months, take some time to get back to your center and renew your connection to Great Spirit. There's a little bonus link in here too. Neptune is a collective planet, which means that all those born in a 14-year period have Neptune in the same sign and will share this spiritual connection. And I love Jamie of PandoraAstrology.com, who calls it the shared dream of each generation, and has a fantastic short article on the generations that I link in here too. So that's kind of fun to go review. Oh, before I forget, I need to talk to you about all these things I just launched in the last 2 weeks and get everybody up to speed. The Astro 101 class is a go, and our first Zoom is on June 29th. So that gives you about 2 weeks, well, maybe 10 days to join. So please sign up. That link will be in this blog post as well as the email that goes out to my e-list. If you're not on that, if you only get my blog through YouTube or some other way, you might want to sign up for that e-list because there is a little bit of extra stuff that goes out to those people. And the Soul Sisters monthly and seasonal circle are getting off the ground. But what I decided to do was pre-record my own welcome video. I'm going to combine the welcome of both of them so that I can tell you the differences between them, and they will both be posted on each, because what's happening is I have people who want to do both, basically. But if you come into the seasonal and you want to know about the monthly, cool. If you come into the monthly and want to know about the seasonal, cool. They're related. But you're not getting the same materials each week. It is structured differently and has a slightly different focus. So I decided rather than doing a live introduction and using that recording, I'm going to go ahead and pre-record it. And hopefully that will go out in this week's email as well, if not next week's for sure. So that is coming together as well, because June 29th is the first Astro 101 class. June 30th is the first monthly Soul Sister Circle with Bear as our guide. Okay? So if you want to join the monthly, you got to do it by the end of the month. And if you want to join the seasonal, that's going to be open the first week of August for the Leo gate. All right, everyone, that is my little classes and circles update. Venus Circle, of course, is always ongoing, and you're welcome to drop in. This cycle does end in December, so I'm just recommending folks drop in between now and then. And if you want to sign up and get your own book for the full 18-month course, then do that in December, and you'll be all set for the following cycle. And that's really the best way to do it. All right, y'all, that is our weekly forecast. I know it's a little longer than usual because we got some big stuff happening this week. I'm with Shanta on Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 noon Pacific. I am with Sister Shaman on Thursday, the 24th, in the afternoon or evening time, mountain time, because she's here on the mountain with me. And those are our events for this week, to celebrate all this movement of the planets going backwards and forwards and a full moon, all that good stuff. It's a magical week, y'all. Do tune in. Take some time out for yourself. Reach out if you need to. This is Kelly Beard of Karmic Tools signing off. Have a fantastic week.